Hey everyone, I'm meteorologist Valerie Mills. Thanks for logging on to My Fox Hurricane. We're right on cue with the start of August. The tropics are waking up and we are tracking three areas right now. One is Dexter. That's no impact as that's moving off to the north and east away from the east coast. But then we're watching an area for development in the southeast and another tropical wave that has just emerged off the coast of Africa. 50% chance for that to develop in the next week. But we'll start you out with Tropical Storm Dexter. It is really impacted by some strong wind shear just to the north, and you can see it really getting sheared apart, especially on the eastern side of that storm. The winds are now down to 40 miles per hour as this is moving northeast right about 12 miles per hour, likely to be extra tropical by the end of this week. And it's to the north of Bermuda, to the south of Halifax. And so this continues to be a fish storm with no impact to land, but it is crossing another named storm off our list. Now we bring our attention to the southeast coast. This is a very typical setup for early season where along these frontal boundaries we have been seeing signs of our models picking up on some broad rotation with an area of low pressure forming in this zone. 10% odds over the next 2 days, 40% odds over the next 7 days. And there's that tropical wave I mentioned to you emerging off the coast of Africa just on the southern side of that Saharan dust. That one, no development expected in the next few days, but as we get really at the end of this week and on into next week, that is when we are going to start to see that system coming a little bit more to life. But the big picture here with that area of interest off the east coast of Florida and extending up to the Carolinas, well, we have this stationary front, and this weakening boundary is going to help enhance some areas of spin. And with that, we have plenty of warmth just off the east coast of Florida, off the coast of Georgia and the Carolinas. Water temperatures in the mid 80s there in this area that we are watching for possible development. And it's not just at the surface, but tropical systems need that warm water extending about 100 to 100 feet below the surface, and we certainly have plenty of that to tap into. So if we can get an area of low pressure that is able to spin up unattached from that front, that's when we start to watch it for some additional tropical development. And so we zoom in here off the southeast. That is where we have seen a couple of areas of low pressure being indicated. Most likely impacts just some rounds of heavy rain, tropical downpours from Florida up to the Carolinas, but it is something we're going to keep tabs on through the weekend, as there has been a couple of areas, one possibly forming off the southeast, another one maybe more around the South Florida area. But regardless, look at the next 7 days. We are talking a lot of heavy rain to be in place, and that's going to be our main impact the next couple of days, with any development with that system just off the southeast coast rather limited as it is going to be close to land. Then we take you out to the open Atlantic. August and September is when we really typically start to see the main development region come to life, and you see all of that disorganized thunderstorm activity kicking right off the coast of Africa. And our main steering pattern is going to be this area of high pressure, but there are some signs as we look to the end of this week into next weekend that there may be some breaks in the ridge that could allow for a tropical wave to maybe take more of a northerly track and generally bring less impacts to land. But it is that point in the season that we sometimes see these tropical waves take more of a due west path, northwest, and that would potentially bring some impacts to the Caribbean. And that is something that we're going to keep close tabs on. But remember, when we see these tropical waves, we in some cases are tracking them 10 to 14 days out. So there's a lot that can change in the next couple of days. One of them is just emerged off the coast of Africa, and actually another one right on the heels of that hasn't even emerged off the coast, and that one actually is showing some more signs of strengthening. And so no areas of concern at this point, but there's a lot to watch here as water temperatures are warming up, the Saharan dust is breaking down, and we really open the gates all across the Atlantic basin for potential tropical development. Dexter, that is now crossed off the list. The next name in line is Erin. We'll continue to keep you updated right here on My Fox Hurricane.